Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, we gather information from many different places and many different people. So if you hear yourself in our conversation today, please remember it is not all about you. Now, the information that we're going to take and lay down today is going to be really important for you to listen to. So this is what we're going to talk about today, is community. And I've kind of entitled this a little bit things as life is full of bees. And if you think about it, it really is. Now, Robin's going to help us walk through this because both of us have different opinions
and perspectives
on these words. And I think that that's what really community really starts to bring them all about. So where would you like to start, Miss Robin?
Well, number one on your list is to be consistent.
Well, I think that's a really hard one to do.
It is. It is. It can be. I'm thinking of all the different ways we are consistent. Are we consistent in the way we talk, the way we dress, what we do with our lives, how we clean? I'm thinking how we keep our yards. It's heavy yard work season here. Just to be consistent. When you're in your group, your community, or whatever, be consistent. And if you want to change, and then be consistent with the change. Does that work?
Well, I think that there's the consistent that I was talking about, is especially in your leadership style. Okay. I know that you can't do one leadership style and stick with it forever.
Right.
There's different times for different places. But people need to really know how you're going to react to a lot of different things. And when they know how you're going to handle things or react to things, then that consistency brings a peaceful way for them to all work together.
Right, because you're not flying off the handle, and hopefully, and things like that. I was just thinking in a negative way. I was involved with an organization where the leader was never early.
Okay. So, but they were consistent.
She was consistent in being on time or a little bit late. And I know there's a gal on my team right now she's going to be there on time. And from my perspective, for years, being on time was correct.
Uh-huh.
And I was consistent to be on time. Now, I was really, really early because I thought that was a waste of my time. But as a leader, you need to be consistent in whatever you're doing and not fly off the handle. Or
I believe consistent in the words you use, the actions you have. And your daily things, be consistent whether you're at work or you're at home or you're out playing golf or wherever it is. I think that's what really messes people up, is when you're kind of two-faced, where you're one way at work, you're one way at home, you're one way at church.
Or you're not consistent. I'm thinking this really, really, really is important in parenting.
Well, it is.
To be consistent with your parenting. What's right today is right today, and what's wrong today is wrong today, and that doesn't change tomorrow. So think of it that way. If you were the parent of the group, what would your consistent leadership or direction look like?
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I do. I put it up on top because I think that this is the hardest one to do, but I think it's one of the most important ones that we as leaders really need to think about. Are we being consistent in our actions?
And our reactions.
And towards our values and towards our morals and towards
our mission
and our vision.
Right.
Are we really being consistent on that journey? And that's why I put it up on top.
Okay.
What's next?
Next is prepared. Good old scout saying, be prepared.
Okay. What's that mean to you?
It means be ready.
Be ready.
Be ready for expected things, for unexpected things. If you're in charge of a meeting, be ready with an agenda. Duh.
Ooh.
And have it early so people can read it. I also, if I'm in charge of a meeting, like my reports early so there's no surprises at the meeting, because that consistently surprises the meeting, leads to bad meetings. So be prepared as well as you can be, and prepared a little ahead of time so that you can think and prepare and adjust.
And being prepared also would be, well, staying on top of what you're supposed to stay on top of. Not only the things that you're in charge of.
That'll be part of consistent.
But I would stay on top of, well, that's why it's up there on top. I'm telling you, this thing of being prepared.
Be prepared and be consistent.
If you're not prepared for today's stuff, there's no way you can be prepared for tomorrow's.
Yeah.
And that's that ongoing continuous learning. I'm just a big proponent of it.
And remember, things change. So be prepared for those changes too.
You've got to keep reading, and you've got to stay on top of what's going on around you. No doubt about it.
There will be. Okay. The next one is be present.
Being present. Well, for me, that means being in the moment.
Being there. I know I've been in meetings before where the people in charge, their mind just tends to wander off somewhere, and you're not sure where it came from. So again, be in the present. Be in the present. Stay on topic. That's really hard for me, I know. Stay on topic, and be present. Be present in the moment with that group.
Being present also is if someone's coming to speak with you, you're speaking with someone, let them get everything out. Be there and be on task. Be really intentional about listening to them and letting them completely.
Well, yeah, and at the same time, help them to not use a lot of words or repeat things 3 and 4 times. You can break in and say, I heard you say da 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 or something like that, but be present and be present and be prepared and be ready for people that deviate from the subject or from the topic. I also was going to kind of encourage you to be present. Sometimes we tend to go back on what we used to do historically in the past, and sometimes that's appropriate and sometimes it isn't. More times it probably is not appropriate than it is, because an organization, we talked about our BOF here, our business organization, friends and family. Things have grown, so whatever was right previously is history and might need to be left there, and just left and be in the present, not in the historical past.
I think it's always good to remember the past and learn from it, and
take
those good pieces out of it.
Right, and it may be that,
but don't get stuck in
that. Sometimes the present purpose might be to rejuvenate something from the past.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't get stuck there, but
don't get stuck there.
But always
walk the line.
Know where you're at, and you know what? Just be there. It really upsets me when I go to a meeting and someone is really not there.
Yeah, it's annoying.
They're there in body, but they're really not there at all.
Right.
So be present.
Be present. Be in the present. Be present in the present.
I like that.
And be involved. In other words, like we just said, if you're there, be in the present. Be involved in what's going on. Be involved in parts of the discussion. If you have something to add it. If not, keep your mouth shut. If the same thing does not be restated 5 and 6 times, once or twice should be plenty. But be involved in the ongoing mission, ministry, vision of whatever you're involved in.
And I think that's what's really important, is that they can be involved on all levels in what you're doing. And that's the situation, is if you're going to be part of a group or part of a team, and you've made that choice to be there, well, be a part of it. Be involved.
And not just be a warm body in a chair. Be involved.
Right. And that means doing all the different parts and pieces too.
Yes.
Okay,
this one, I didn't read this one. I read through the list. Be quiet. Sometimes it's very important to be quiet, to let others in the group have a minute to think in the quiet and peace. For you to have a minute to think in the quiet and peace. Just be quiet and let things grow and evolve and come to the surface, and someone will express an awesome thought.
I think
that happens every time.
The reason I put that on there was just really one reason. You cannot listen and learn if you're not quiet. And sometimes we get so excited about something that we're doing that we overrun the person sitting next to us. And sometimes we lose some really good ideas and thought processes when we do that. And I don't think people do it maliciously. I just think it happens because we're not intentional about listening.
Right.
So,
again, if you're the one in charge, and the quiet doesn't need to go on for 4 or 5 minutes.
No.
30
it's just
seconds.
It's a short pause.
It's a short pause. It's a pause more than a period. It's a pause. But encourage people who have been quiet to share their thoughts.
There you go.
After that quiet time. We
go.
like to say, no, she's been very quiet. Do you have anything to add? Things like that. But try to draw them out. So everyone has a chance to be in the present.
I think that's really important, that a leader can really see someone, read their body language to know that they've really got something to say, but they just haven't had the chance or the opportunity to spit it out.
It just didn't feel right.
Mhm.
Okay. The next one is be patient.
One of my hard things in life is being patient.
Mine is God grant me patience yesterday, but I am maturing a little. But you have to be patient with people.
I think you have to be patient with lots of things. It's not just people, but you know, Robin always says, you make a plan and God will take and
Right.
smile.
Oh no, I plan God laughs. Uh, what I was just about the patient part is that you just have to be patient with people. Give them time, and sometimes you have to tell them if they're pushing for an answer. You can actually say, let's just have a little patience here. Let me have time to think about it and
Hmm.
think about all the ramifications and all the reasons we should or shouldn't do this, or the way we're doing it's wrong, or but be patient. Don't expect all the answers to come right away,
Right.
because sometimes the best answer comes after the meeting in the parking lot.
And
And be aware of that.
realize
Allow
that
for that.
people have different learning
Mm-hmm.
abilities, and sometimes there's certain people that I deal with all the time, and sometimes I forget about it. But they have to collect all the information, not just part of it,
Right.
but all of it before they can make a discernment and a decision. And
Right.
you have to give them
Give them
that
time.
time to
So
do that.
so sometimes when you're working on your whatever your challenge is at that time, there are people that, like we said, have to have more time to think
Hmm.
than I tend to be more knee jerk. Um, sometimes the reactions are good, then they're not all bad, but I'm a little quicker with processing. Some people
That's
need
a good
longer,
word. That's a good
and you
word.
need to give them time to process. So sometimes the best thing to do is to table
Hmm.
something when you know it's not right
Hmm.
or not quite right. Table it and let it
Come back to it.
what was it? Let it ferment.
That's good stuff.
Just like give some time to grow and rise, kind of like bread.
Okay.
Let the yeast work, and that's a good thing to do. Be
I
patient.
do. And you know what? It's an intentionality piece in your word. And I didn't write intentionality on this list,
It's too big a word.
but I'll probably add it someplace.
It has some bad connotations. Okay, so we're going to be patient.
Okay.
Okay, and then we're going to be kind. Remember this thought at all times. It doesn't cost anything
To be kind.
to be kind.
One of the things that really impresses me that no matter how things get going in certain places, being kind to one another sets the tone, whether it comes into a heated discussion and or it
Right.
comes into a
calm
thoughtful
discussion.
a
thoughtful discussion.
I think
Okay.
a thoughtful discussion
But you can be
can
kind.
get
You don't
going,
have to
but
be mean.
you can be nice to one another with your verbiage.
Right. In all things, you can always be kind.
I just
And that applies to aggressive drivers.
aggressive drivers, how we speak to one another.
You can be kind. Let them out. If they're in a big hurry, stop your car. Let them turn in front of you. Come on. But be kind as often as you can, because if you're not, it's gonna catch up with you. And every once in a while, kindness kind of slips right under my nose, and I miss being kind or sometimes accepting kindness.
Yep.
Being aware. So be aware and be kind. Courteous. You just sound like the scout law here. Again, let that driver out in front of you. Be courteous. Be kind to people. Pay attention to them.
The reason courteous is on here is basically I was brought up in a certain way to hold doors open for ladies, to walk next to the curb and not the lady, to take it, just do certain things, to say yes ma'am and no ma'am and those kind of things, and treat people with the kindness and courtesy that I wanted to be treated with.
Right. So it's kind and courteous. I also wanted to talk about courteous. It's okay for a woman to hold the door for a man also.
It's okay with me.
It's okay. I mean, if the guy's coming out with a bag of groceries, open the door for them. Say, let me take my turn. I remember the worst time I used to have was getting in the store with the stroller with the kid in it. Now, you're at the store. Those doors are heavy, and you've got the stroller with the kid and your purse and whatever else, and you're trying to get in the door. And I remember standing outside a door at a mall one time, holding the door open while 10 people walked in. And I'm still standing there holding the door, trying to get the stroller in. Finally, some guy said, he'd been walking all across the parking lot to get to the door. He said, I think it's my turn to hold the door for you, ma'am. But they didn't even notice that I'm trying to get the stroller into the store. It's not easy when you don't have an automatic door. Be courteous.
I think that this is just something that we've kind of lost in our society
Yeah.
today.
Uh-huh.
And I have to tell you, I just, it's the way I was brought up, but it's also, I believe that this is the way we can be nice to one
Be
another.
nice, and it might just be and make someone say that someone was nice to them.
Yeah.
You know, they let them. The guy with 2 groceries when you've got a grocery cart, you know, let him go in front of you. Come on.
That big fella the other day when I
Oh, he
told him,
was in shock.
I said, you know, you're working today. Just go ahead and go get ahead of us. And then he looked at me, boy.
But we were going through this. We were in line at the self checkout, and what I was doing was turning everything in the cart up so the barcode showed, so I could go zap 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 with the little barcode reader thingy, and it actually is faster for me to check out, and I would have let him go, and it can't too. I was like 25, but you know, there's reasons that we do things, and he was just shocked. He was like 6'5", 6'8".
He was a
He was
big fella.
guy that anybody was that nice to him. And we're like, hey, we can be nice. It didn't cost us anything. You know, it cost me a minute maybe and more in line. I doubt even that.
Whoop-de-doo, you know?
Yeah, whoopee. Then I could, like, again, everything was ready to.
But these are the things that build community. And I believe that these are simple things in my life. I believe they're simple things that we can put into our leadership piece and in our daily activities and make it so easy.
It's so simple. And we all know these things. We learned them in kindergarten. You know, you learned them in kindergarten, and sometime I'll be by 6th grade. Everybody forgets them, I think. But be courteous. Be courteous. Be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Be ready. Which is kind of funny because that was my gym name in high school.
We're losing your voice down.
Okay, so be ready. In other words, when you are at a gathering in your community, whatever that looks like.
All right.
When you're there, be ready. Be ready to listen to people's stories. Be ready to help. Be ready to listen. Be ready to be compassionate. Be ready. Just be ready.
Be ready for emergency.
Be ready. Be ready to step in if somebody needs help. If someone forgot something important to the meeting, like, I don't know, the coffee. Oh, be ready. But be ready. Be ready for whatever needs to be done. Be ready to volunteer for doing jobs. Be ready.
I was at a speaking engagement just the other day where the speaker showed up, and they wanted us to all take notes, and they had forgotten all their pens. Now, I travel with this big, because I never know when one of my pens is not going to work, which frustrates me. So I got out about 10 pens and said, here you go. And they went, what do you do with all? Why carry all those around? Well,
so you were courteous, ready, and prepared.
I was just thankful to be able to help. Really good people, and he had a really good message, and it would have really thrown him off if you know, he had gotten flustered right there.
Right, that's not a good way to start a speech.
And
flustered is not good.
You know, it didn't cost me anything.
No, take some deep breaths, and again, you got your pens back.
Well, I got most of them back.
That's okay, because you didn't need them all anyway. I'm sure you did not need all of them.
I did not.
But yeah, so again, be ready. You never know what's going to pop up.
Yeah, that's true.
So be as ready can be.
Okay.
Then be compassionate.
You know,
this kind of overlaps with some other things, but be caring and be compassionate and let people know that. Listen to them.
There was a whole big piece that I had written someplace that's over here about emotional intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
And this thing of compassion is built right into that. And I think sometimes we get so busy in our own world, on our own projects, on our own things, in our own teams, that we sometimes we just can't see outside that door.
Yeah, can't see beyond
and that compassion of that person that needs your help. Maybe they just needed you to listen so they could vent. Maybe they really needed something like the gentleman who came through my door today. Needed a tool that I had, actually was sitting on the workbench. Well, you know, yeah, you can borrow that, you know. What does that mean, and what does that take from you? Absolutely nothing.
But it gives so much to someone else.
And that's the difference. For me, I try to take and practice this on a daily basis, no matter where I go. And I have to tell you that sometimes I have to be more intentional about than others. But most days it just comes natural.
There's a place, we know people that are very, very, very compassionate, to the point where they are just emotionally sucked dry by people that need compassion or think they need compassion. And be aware of that too. People that maybe need compassion maybe need some other incentives besides the compassion. They need compassion first, and then maybe they need some guidance and direction. So don't get sucked dry on compassion. It can kill you.
Yeah.
It just drains you. So
Okay.
beware. Beware.
So be there, but don't be too there.
Pay attention to yourself too.
So we need to
As
do
you're
that.
building community, you need to apply all of these things to yourself also.
Okay, I like that. That's good.
Thinking on my feet here.
Well, actually, you're sitting down, but
Okay, I'm sitting on my fanny thinking this right now. Be resilient. In other words, don't let people get you down. Wait till you get home or in the car, in the parking lot, not while you're driving, in the parking lot. Take a couple deep breaths and build your resilience. You need to be able to bounce back. What did I do wrong? What can I do better in the future?
Yeah. What can I learn from this?
What can I learn from this? And have it not drag you down.
The one
Because
company that we represent is called Beef Life. And he's got a saying, the young fella does, and he says, it's not how many times you get bucked off, it's how many times you get back on. And that really pretty much describes it, doesn't it?
Right. And don't just be ever resilient. Think about whether you should be resilient in every area or not.
Well, I kind of think of it this way. What did I learn from that? Do I want to do that again?
And how do I make that not happen again?
Because I told him I'm not getting on any more bulls. I'm too old.
Yeah, I think I said that the second time they told me to climb a 30-foot pole for a challenge course. I did it once, and I am not inclined to do it again.
So you have to.
So the resiliency.
You have to know where to put it.
Every once in a while, eventually that elastic is pretty resilient, but eventually it does wear out. So be resilient and pick your resiliency. Pick your resiliency.
I like that about the elastic. That's good.
I love mental pictures, don't you?
I do.
Okay. Sometimes I'm better with them than others. Okay, learning. Again, what did we learn from this? What am I learning? What can I share? Is that in here? No. What am I learning, or how can I share what I've already learned with someone?
For me, it's ongoing, continuous learning. So many times I hear really educated people tell me that, gee, I read all the books I ever needed to read when I was in college. I'm not reading anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And
that doesn't go over well.
People come to my house and Robin's house, and they look around our place and they go, gosh, you guys got a lot of books.
What they don't buy, I thought about this after you said it the other day. The books that we have that we use for this kind of
I still have a lot of books.
Challenge are good for me. They're leadership books, they're things like that. The books they're seeing are the ones in the family room. Now, those books are old study books from church Bible studies. There's a half shelf, or I think probably one whole shelf full of Bibles, all different
denominations.
Not denominations, but
writings,
all different Bibles. The rest of the shelves are filled with cookbooks and craft books. So yeah, there's a lot of books, but they have potential need. Once in a while, I get one out and say I need a project, and we'll go through that. So learning is important. It's important to put the things we say on here into practice.
But think about this.
And we put them in practice ourselves, just so you know.
If someone says, this is a good book, you might look at. A pastor friend said, hey, you ought to read this book. It's on leadership. Well, I bought it, and I'm reading it, and it's different.
At one point here, the resiliency factor hit us is maybe you should have tried to check it out at the library before you bought it. Maybe, or no, okay, because I know it's different when you can write in it.
I'm an underliner and writer. Just so you know, I'm one of those kind of guys with books.
I never got over to writing a book. Okay, so we're going to learn. The other thing you need to do with your learning is when you're being compassionate with someone and it's appropriate to share what you've learned in a similar situation, that is how you use your learning appropriately. So don't keep it in. Remember, knowledge only has power when you share it.
That's correct.
It doesn't have any power if you keep it inside.
That's correct.
So share what you know, to be compassionate and patient and involved and present and all those other things we talked about. Share the things you've learned when appropriate.
I agree.
Did I cover it?
I think so.
Okay. Be of good character. Now, this could go a couple of ways. You could either be a good character, and I've heard I am, and also be a person of good character.
Well, what's good character mean?
I think they're just generally good people. They've done all these other things. I didn't even count these things. All these other things. They are the good character. They're not mean. They're not the mean girl. They're not the nasty boy. They are good good salt of the earth, common people
There's some
that
things
can relate to people and integrate with people and build community with people.
do what you
Just be
say
a
you're
good
going to do.
character.
Do what you say you're going to do. Walk your
Somebody,
talk.
and remember, somebody's always watching.
Walk your talk. One of the things that really will tear up your character quick is when you say one thing and you do something else.
Lord, yes.
And that's the biggest one that we run into all the time.
And I will tell you, one of the main things you have to watch is what comes out of your mouth.
Yep.
When you're angry, those
Yep.
words that you should not be using in front of your children.
Or anywhere else.
Or anywhere else. Don't use them. I know I slip up and I shock myself sometimes with what comes out. But be careful and work on that. Be a good character. Show a good front. Be the person that you would want to be with. Be the person you want for your best friend.
I think that's a good one right there.
Is that a good one? Yeah. Usually I would say you need a best friend that fills in, or a husband or a spouse, whatever, partner.
I don't know if I feel it.
That fills in your gaps also. But you need to be the person you want to be a friend to.
The one thing I'm going to stick in here is vulgarity. Okay.
Yeah,
this thing with being having a good character, I'm going to tell you what, when Robin was talking about words, it just kind of popped in my head. You know, those words, those vulgar words, they're just not necessary. They just really have no meaning. They have no place. And you know what? When you're a leader,
it cuts into your good character.
They'll take and pull away from all the things that you've tried to do.
Oh, yeah. It just takes one slip.
So if it happens, make sure you apologize for it and move on. But
yeah,
let me tell you something.
Getting so angry that it slipped.
Try your best to take it and remove them from your vocabulary. That's what I've tried to do.
And when it's appropriate, be a character. I mean, come on, lighten up, lighten up the mood. Whatever it takes. Be a character. They're more interesting to be around than people who aren't characters. Face it. Really.
There's things in life to be. That's all.
All right, we're down to 3 minutes.
I see us.
Be passionate. Can you tell we're kind of passionate about building community here? We're passionate about what we talk about. Mm-hmm. We are sometimes passionate with each other.
Now and then.
But being passionate, it shows. If you have a real heart and love for something, it shows. And it helps build a community. It helps build your business, your organization, your friends, and your family. Be passionate.
I think the other big part about it is that we're in today's world sometimes a little afraid to show our passion. Now, by that I mean, sometimes when I'm asked to speak on leadership, I get real excited. And my passion comes out on the stage and I talk too quick. And sometimes I need someone who says, slow down. But you know what? I enjoy when I watch other people. I enjoy when I listen to other speakers. I enjoy when people show their passion for what they truly believe in and want to take and share with me.
And I think it's important when someone's talking that they don't talk in a monotone. I don't think I can do a monotone. They do not talk in a monotone. They show some passion in their voices, ups and downs. They let you know that they care about what they're saying.
And some of that's a learned skill.
Don't be over passionate and cry all the time, because people don't like that too much either. That person is, she cries all the time. About what? Oh, I don't know. The cat stubbed her toe. Okay.
Okay.
I think I'm done now. Build community. Build it wisely.
I hope you've enjoyed this opportunity today. This thing is life is full of bees. I have to tell you that it was such an important piece that we put this together for you. I believe that when we talk about this, we can really take all of ourselves to that next level just by changing some of the words we use. Well, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and Robin Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, I want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Now, we hope that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. If you have any questions or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Give us a call, 727-422-1833. 727-422-1833. Send us an email, dick@ewfw.org, robin@ewfw.org. Go to our website. There's a place there to send us a little note. Spend some time, look around, see the things we're doing. www.ewfw.org. And when you know that you're ready to have us come and put on a leadership opportunity at your location, make sure you get on our calendar pretty darn quick, because we book up all over the year. So I see you until next time. This is DW the Wrangler and Miss Robin saying, ride hard, ride fast.